Hello and welcome back to Versus Live. I'm Todd Anderson, joined by
Ross Merriam.
We got Jerry Thompson in the booth, as most people pronounce it out loud.
Most people.
Yeah.
Most people. Ross, can you do the math on that?
Yeah, it's 51%.
Could be less than that, but yes.
Or was it Gary Thompson?
Some people call me Gerald too, which is legally not my name.
That's fair. I call you Gerald sometimes. That's my bad.
Yeah, somehow we're still friends.
Oh, okay.
Mysteries.
So we had one match in the books already. We had a Mono Red Phoenix deck that used Arya Flame and Seasoned Pyromancer and this really ritual-heavy build of Mono Red. Functioned quite well, but obviously I threw it up against a bunch of cheap creatures that were mediocre against Gutshot and Lava Dart. But second matchup, Ross, tell us about your deck.
I am playing an Izzet Tempo deck. This is styled after the mono blue Tempo deck we saw last season in Standard, built around Curious Obsession. So we've got a lot of cheap 1-mana flyers, no copies of Delver of Secrets because the instant and sorcery count isn't high enough. But we're playing a sort of fairy theme. We've got Fairy Miscreant as one of the 1-drops to help
Spellstutter Sprite?
Help enable Spellstutter Sprite.
Nice.
We got Vendilion Click.
Nice.
And then Terramander and Siren Storm Tamer. A couple copies of Wizard's Retort enabled by the Wizards. A lot of the fairies are also wizards.
Yeah.
So
Is Miscreant a wizard?
I believe so.
Cool.
And then
Maybe you play Wizard's Lightning and Lightning Bolt, or just Lightning Bolt?
just Lightning Bolt in this list. Maybe you want more bolts than that, though. Yeah.
Sounds cool. I don't know.
There are a lot of different cards I could put in the deck. It was hard to fit everything, but that's
Sure.
definitely a consideration. I've got a mishmash of like singleton spells. We've got a Pierce. We've got a Spell Snare, a couple dive downs to protect our Obsession. But the real thing that we're trying to exploit is the synergy between Curious Obsession and the pitch counters. So when you tap out and then you're drawing all these extra cards, as long as your Obsession creature lives, you've got Disrupting Shoal and now Force of Negation to help protect those cards. So you've got 6 total, 3 of each of these pitch spells should be able to generate a lot of tempo in the early turns, hopefully get us far enough ahead that our mopey 1 power flyers can race.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the idea. We talked about this deck a little bit last week, and one thing that we could find out very quickly is that you just want to play all 8 Curious Obsession and Curiosities. Like if it's good and if it's exactly what you want to do, you need ways to fuel your Force of Negations and your Disrupting Shoals. And it's gonna be a little tough in this matchup. We are a removal heavy Mardu Pyromancer deck, and this is again using Seasoned Pyromancer. Since my article was about the card last week, I want to showcase some of the decks I was working on. But this one's going to be tough. And honestly, the fact that you only have 4 of the Curious Obsession Curiosity cards, I think is actually going to be better for you, because you ever getting 2 for 1 from like a cheap removal spell feels real bad.
Yeah. I'm worried about Lingering Souls out of your deck. Sure. That's going to be really good in this matchup. I'm all 1 toughness flyers basically. So
do you want me to just cut them?
No.
I kind of want to just cut them.
We're going to be, it's still a 3-mana sorcery. It's an easy card to tempo out.
That's true.
But it's a card that if it resolves can be very good. Curious Obsession should be helpful in at least trading for a full part of it. And hopefully I've got some cards. I got some cards off the Obsession first, but that's the card I'm most worried about. Everything else I think I can handle pretty well. You don't put a ton of pressure on me.
Yeah, the tokens from Young Pyromancer and Seasoned Pyromancer don't really do anything. I mean, they attack you, but they're normally those are good because they're both defensive and offensive. In this matchup, they're purely offensive, and it's not that good of a clock.
Yeah, in this matchup, you'd probably prefer something like Pia and Kieran Nalar, so those tokens are flying and they can pick off 2 toughness things with the ability. But hopefully I can take advantage of that, make sure I play around Lingering Souls and tempo out your 2 and 3 mana removal spells being played against my 0 and 1 mana spells.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty nice. Jerry, you have a lot of experience with Mardu Pyromancer, obviously making the finals of a Mythic Championship a year and change ago?
A little over a year ago.
And what are your thoughts on potentially adding Seasoned Pyromancer to the build? Cards like Engrass Rampage might deserve a spot.
Maybe. It depends on the metagame, because you could just play something like Dreadbore and that handles a lot of the same problems, but if there are artifacts that you want to kill, by all means, get Rampage in there. The versatility is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, that was the reason why I chose it over Dreadbore. Obviously, being able to target a creature or target a Planeswalker a little bit better than making them Edict. But for the most part, on turn 2, it's going to be like the same thing.
The Edict is also relevant against things like Auriok Champion.
Yeah, Auriok Champion, Burnt and Fortender, which we saw last match, but
Slippery
also
Bogle.
Slippery Bogle, like the Hexproof decks. Those are quite good. And out of some of the Jeskai control sideboards, a lot of times they bring in the Geist-Saint Draft, and that one can be fairly problematic.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple things. Fairy Miscreant is a rogue, not a wizard.
Sure.
So unfortunate there, I guess. And then the chat wants to see ninjas.
Well, we only have the one, right? I mean, it's really good.
There's a blue-black one that was previewed yesterday, I think.
But yeah.
Ninja the Deep Hours also.
Do you have Ninja Deep Hours in your deck?
I don't, but there's a blue-black like Ninja of the Deep Hours in the set.
The chat wants you to put ninjas in your deck. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'll work on
Ninja
that.
Deep Hours are quite good with pitch spells.
Also, point of order, you can't really see ninjas because they're supposed to be invisible and you can't really detect them. So I don't know why.
They want to see them.
Yeah, they could be here.
All right. Well, you get to be on the play. Let's go ahead and start the match. Do you have any questions while we're doing mulligans and playing our first few turns, Gerald?
Oh, I got you. So based on Giver of Runes and creature combo decks, Aaron Freyer wants to know if you have any thoughts on Bant Infect with Giver and maybe the 3-mana Teferi.
Seems kind of cool. You don't have a ton of spots for cards like that because you have to play such a high density of pump spells. I definitely like Teferi because Teferi at least replaces itself. Though at 3 mana you can't play too many of them. But yeah, Giver is a nice way to get your creatures through.
One thing I'll say about Infect is that the draws where you have a 1-drop creature versus the draws where you don't are just miles different. Whether that's a Glistener Elf or Noble Hierarch, and adding another one like Giver of Runes is quite good. But every time you add in another creature, you're having to cut a pump spell. And it's possible that you want to build a version that uses Giver of Runes with a bunch of things like Rancor that stick around while pumping, as opposed to one-shot effects like Might of Old Crochet, so that you can continually pressure your opponent. So, I mean, I like the idea. I'm always down for different Infect decks. How's yours?
I've got a solid hand here.
All right, mine's keepable. It is not very good, but it could get really good if I draw land.
I'm going to fetch for an island and play a Storm Tamer. 19.
Right.
And I think this one's for Todd. Chef Seth wants to know about Factor Fiction in Wilderness Reclamation in Modern.
Oh, we've already done that, by the way. We had a couple of really sweet videos a couple months ago when they first announced Modern Horizons, and we did our things that we wanted to try out in Modern. Maybe I should do this on your upkeep to play around the Force Negation, but then you get in Spell Pierce and Dive Down. That's really interesting.
Which one do you want to play around?
I mean, probably would rather you play the pitch spell, right? So let's just do it now. Anyway, I'm at 17. But yeah, we tried out a Reclamation deck with Factor Fiction because we were just doing speculative cards that we wanted to see.
Okay, so this was a while ago, probably.
It was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And we chose cards that were specifically in Invasion block and Odyssey block and Onslaught block.
Okay.
Because they were just outside of Modern, and they were about the time that I started playing Magic. So almost all my cards were from Invasion, Odyssey, and Onslaught.
So what was your favorite from the cards that you tried out that have not been previewed yet?
I honestly can't even remember all the ones we did because we had Standstill. Standstill with Disrupting Shoal was nice.
What about Standstill with Force of Negation? Would that be nice?
Also be nice. Yeah. All right, are you done?
I also had opposite. I built an opposition deck, and that was sweet.
Yeah,
Opposition.
Dude, I'm really hoping it's there because they put Squirrel Nest in there.
That card is too good.
It is really good, but Modern is broken. I don't know if you've ever played Modern before. It's busted.
It's not like tap all your permanents every turn broken, but yes.
Isn't it though?
I don't think so.
Have you ever played against Lantern? You just can't cast spells after turn 3. You just never draw a spell ever again.
I played a turn 2 opposition against Todd. It was great.
Yeah, with Sai on the back.
Yeah. Mox Opal. And it was...
Yeah, that's not cool, man. It's not cool.
It was really cool.
It was great. I loved it.
All right, let's start with... Actually, I'm going to fetch a Swamp. I'm going to cast an Inquisition, target you.
16. I'm going to play a Spellsetter Sprite.
Yeah, I don't have it, so that's going to get countered. That's good. And then I'm going to play a Faithless Looting and get absolutely massacred. Loot.
Yep.
Keith Capstick says he's trying to aggro Loam in Modern because of Ren and 6.
All right, here you go. Discard to the souls. Red and 6 seems nice. The ultimate giving your life from the loaves retrace is pretty cool because you just get to go off.
Kind of like capped on mana, though, right?
Yeah, you know.
Attack you to 15. Play a fire islet. Pass the turn.
All right, how many cards?
I got 4.
All right, let's see that spell pierce.
I will.
This is a spot where I actually think Force of Negation really shines. Is because here it's actually just fine as cancel, right?
Right.
Or 3-man negate. It's going to be like really nutso on turn 2 or whatever when your opponent's going for their combo and you just force will them, right? But in this spot, like, you know, I'm you know, I don't really have any protection here against a cheap counterspell. Kind of having to run all my stuff out.
I will let that resolve.
All right. So now I have the option. It seems like it might be a little difficult for Ross to deal with Lily if I tick up, but I don't really want to discard any of the cards in my hand, so I'm just going to minus target you. We're almost guaranteed to get a thing unless he Vapor Snags in response or something. I don't know. I don't know what all's in his deck.
This is tough. I'm really concerned about that Lingering Souls in Todd's graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 3 cards in hand. I think I just let this thing go. And then we'll just run out of Snapcaster to deal with this Liliana.
Mm-hmm.
Attack.
Dead.
Twisted Image my Snapcaster Mage.
Sure.
And pass the turn.
Twisted Image is a nice little one.
Yeah, a nice little one of.
Ross, how many times has your thing in the ice got twisted imaged?
I think 0.
Must be nice.
People aren't playing Twisted Image. I thought about putting one in my deck for the mirror.
Yeah, you should.
Lily.
SCG Con, 2 weeks.
Don't think I can beat this Liliana, so let's Wizards retort it.
Ooh, that's nice.
I'm at 18.
All right. Flat's your turn.
Scooter says twisted image targeting Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah. No, that's on my brain. Keyword. I got a lot of future ideas for Dreadhorde.
13.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sack this to draw a card.
Okay.
And play the Spiral Canal untapped.
Combo deck.
All right, I'm gonna go to 12.
Yep.
We're gonna get one of our white sources.
No, we call that
What do we call that?
good deck building.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Dan. Dan the man.
I do what I can.
You're good.
Ugh. All right, play my lands. Play Season Pyromancer.
Resolves.
All right, we are going to discard a Faithful Suiting and make a 1/1, and then I'm gonna draw 2 cards.
Is that good?
I think it's really good, honestly. And then I'm gonna play a Lingering Souls.
Yep.
Get 2 spirits and pass the turn. Don't have no spirits.
Oh no.
It's a problem. Jerry, can you go find me some spirits in one of these boxes over here?
Sure, man.
All right. Currently have some anointed zombies over here.
Under S.
Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome.
This is not great. Not great at all.
See, I don't have lifelinkers, so.
Pass the turn.
There are too many different spirits, Todd.
Okay, well, they're the 1/1 flyers. If that was
I understand.
flashback.
I have some black and white flyers. I have some surf tokens. Some blue spirits.
So, Fatal Push on the Snapcaster.
Colorless
Right.
spirit.
Bolt it.
Paper snag it.
Wow, that's good.
Jeez.
I'm at 17.
Okay. I'm going to attack with these. If he wants to play Snap and block, that's fine. But I want to hold this back to actually block his Snapcaster if he decides to play here and then attack. Maybe that's bad. So I'm at 13, right?
You're 12.
At 12? Alright, I'm gonna attack with this dude. 'Cause if he wants to play snap, he's not gonna get any value out of it.
I will go to 12.
Only white and black ones, I'm sorry.
Okay. Someone must have stolen.
On your end step, I'm going to bolt you.
Oof.
Let's do it a 9.
Sure.
It's an interesting one. Pteramander.
Sure.
2,
That's pretty
3,
good.
4, 5. I guess I'll play around bolt and just adapt it now. And
Alright. I will flash back a Faithless Looting.
okay. 2 Lilianas and a Fatal Push gone. I'm not sure how many more removal spells will deal with it. Rampage will.
Not a lot. Discard these 2. Play this. Ugh. Haven't played a land yet. I guess Faithless Looting doesn't really do much here because I guess it just lets us use our mana, but we can get a pump from Bedlam Reveler next turn. I'm at 9, so I'm not quite dead. I have 2 blockers here, and I think at this point Ross would probably block here, and he would take 2 down to 10. That's not really that good.
Ross, what are you at?
I'm at 12.
and I'm at 9.
Oh yeah, forgot that attack.
Sure.
Yeah, I took 5 last turn.
Just gonna say go. We got plenty of mana to use with the Faithless Looting next turn to pump Bedlam Reveler. Got a couple chump blockers with the spirits.
So we got Todd on 3 cards. The clock is ticking on us here. I think we've got to be aggressive, and that means that could mean we can either hope Todd doesn't have Fatal Push or another Lingering Souls, or we can hope we can find another Bolt. And I'd rather put the test to Todd than me.
Sure.
So let's bolt a token.
Snap.
Bolt
Snag.
the other token.
No, snap.
Oh, yeah, snag. That makes more sense.
So I go to 8, then you type me down to 3.
Yeah. Oh, so this does it both ways. Yeah, I forgot about the
Yeah,
snag.
Oh,
That's
don't
perfect.
worry. I never forget about River Snap.
So you're 3.
Yeah.
So now Todd has to find something specific to survive, and we can draw one of our 2 remaining bolts.
I'm pretty sure
I don't like the look on anyone's face right now.
Gonna just kill you. All right, let's drain you. Hit this and make you discard, and this gets +1/+1, so you go to 10.
Yeah.
What's in your hand? Oh, and then just looting. Pump this. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I'm 1 short.
Yeah.
Crap. Oh well. Maybe I don't looting then. Yeah, I'll just.
Oh, and you go to 5 too.
Yeah. But
Ugh.
I'll Lingering Souls. Make 2 more spirits. Attack 4.
You just draw the Lingering Souls?
Of course. All right, and you're at 2. Go. I thought I killed you. I actually just messed up. That's fine.
That's another land.
Yeah, I think you actually might have won that game if I didn't draw Lingering Souls. So I did not have a removal spell for that Pteramander, and I would only go to 5.
Got to play a few lootings that turn though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I did have looting.
And you can find a bolt too to just team up with the.
Really
Quality.
sweet game. I mean, obviously the second Lingering Souls is very strong. The first one was good too. Effectively a 1.5 to 1.
Yeah.
All right, let's play another one pre-board unless you'd like to sideboard.
Oh, let's do another pre-board.
All right, any questions for us, Jerry T?
A lot of people just want to know about very specific cards.
Hit me.
All right, Kaya's Guile.
Kaya's Guile, that's the Entwine choose 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Make a spirit, exile their graveyard.
Gain
sack a
4
creature
life,
and
they
get
sack a
5.
creature.
They send Edict for
I think
3
that card
mana.
is nice. I mean, choose any 2 modes on that card, and they're all great.
Yeah. That's 6 different cards.
I mean, 3 mana Edict make a 1/1 would just be playable, I think.
And then you still get the option to have main deck graveyard hate or burn hate or whatever.
Yeah. I think that card is going to be spectacular in like Abzan midrange, for example.
What about Mardu?
Mardu? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think it replaces something like Lingering Souls, but it very may well replace something like Kolaghan's Command.
Yeah.
You know?
People already played Blessed Alliance a little bit sideboards, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just 2. Look, This is a better mode than that, and that's the same mode, and you get to do both for 3 mana, and have
the
5 more options.
The strength of Blessed Alliance was always the fact that you could do another thing for 2 mana, right? So like, for 1 more mana, you get to do another thing, but you don't have the option to like have a 2 mana Edict or 2 mana Game Force. So, love that card. Next,
How do y'all feel about Archmage's Charm? Archmage's Charm,
I think that card is legacy playable and very good.
legacy playable.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm higher than most on that card, and then Todd came out with that. So
I mean, think about it. Like 3 mana instant, steal your Delver of Secrets or Death Shadow,
Or Merit Lage.
or Merit Lage, all having 1 or less toughness. That's already like great against 2 of the top decks in the format, right? And then on top of that, all your lands already tap for blue if you're like a Grixis Delver deck or if you're a Daze deck in general. And then card advantage is not something you actually get a lot of in Legacy. And so like I think you could just play this as a 1 or a 2 of in like any blue based deck and just have a very versatile 3 mana card. It just seems great. On like every mode seems great.
So maybe you don't get to play as many wastelands or like badlands when you're
Sure.
talking about Grixis specifically, but
Yeah.
still probably pretty sweet.
I don't think Wasteland is nearly as good anymore since you don't have Deathrite Shaman anyway. So, like, I've just hated True Name Nemesis in a lot of these decks recently. But like, if I was playing Grixis Delver or whatever, I mean, I might want to play a couple. Like, if you're playing against a combo deck, I get to the point a lot of times where I'm hard casting Force of Will. So
Yeah.
like a 3 mana counterspell is not that big of a deal. Games go a little bit longer in Legacy when you're playing blue based
yeah,
decks.
the fair games have been going longer since the banning of Deathrite Shaman for sure.
I love it.
What about Nimble Mongoose? Was that one of the cards that y'all tested like 2 months ago?
No, I actually thought, they actually said a couple years back when they got rid of protection that they weren't going to print protection cards anymore. And I just assumed that also meant that no more protection cards were going to be put into Modern. And the same thing was true for Shroud. They retired it, right? So I thought that there was no chance that Mongoose would be in. I thought there was no chance Mother Runes would be in. I don't even think we put Mother Runes in a deck when we were playing because we just assumed that protection was no longer a thing.
Well, there's a new level up creature that also has protection from stuff.
I know.
Has protection from all the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, I was a little taken aback that they brought it back. Even though it's not in standard, I just thought that in general that meant there were going to be no more cards that had Hex or Shroud. They were all going to have Hexproof if they were going to have anything at all, or protection or whatever. So I did not think it was going to be in. I also don't think it's very good, which I'm really sad about because I love it. I love the card.
I wish it was good, but I don't think it is.
Are you past your Teamer box days?
I just think Hoodoo Mandrill is better. The Premier's power removal in Modern is Bolt and Fatal Push, and Hoodoo Mandrill is just bigger. And you can't play both because one eats the graveyard.
Yeah. People have done that in Legacy, though.
I know.
People have done a lot of things.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that they're smart or right.
What about Plague Engineer?
Love it as an idea. Not sure how prevalent it's going to be in Modern, but I've always wanted access to an Engineered Plague in Modern, so I think it's fine. The fact that it's a creature makes it vulnerable, which I like, and the trade-off is that it doesn't affect your stuff, which is great.
And it's just a 2/2 Death Touch, right? So you can trade it with the Tarmogoyf or something like that.
Yeah, no, I like the card for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Humans is around, that's a card that seems like it should see play. Worst case scenario, you're like paying 3 mana and destroying all their Noble Hierarchs, and you're making it a lot harder for them to keep developing their board, and they're not removing it permanently unless you can't answer a Deputy of Detention in your Swamp deck in Modern.
Yeah,
which seems unlikely.
All right, let's get back to game 2. You're going to be on the play. How's your hand?
This is another solid one. We got to dig for a threat, but we have plenty of ways to do so. So I'm going to keep this one.
Yeah, I'll keep 2.
We'll start on a Scalding Tarn and pass.
All right, we'll start with a Faithless Looting.
Jerry, should I counter this?
Should you counter Faithless Looting?
Let me see the hand.
His hand or mine?
His. I can't see it either. Like looking at Ross or
I would highly advise you counter this card.
Yeah, it's like that good.
No, just based on the context of my hand.
Okay, I'm gonna let Todd lead me into a disaster and spell pierces.
No, I mean, I think using the the spot counter spells to stop spot removal is not that great.
Ross,
Especially when it's
think about it this way. Would you spell pierce like a brainstorm? Like actual brainstorm fetch? Because that's effectively what it is like in this deck.
Okay.
Fence looting is nuts.
Yeah, I would definitely spell Pierce a Brainstorm. Okay, I'm a 19.
Yep.
Let's play a Opt.
Sure.
And we'll bottom that. And I said bottom that deck. Apparently wasn't listening.
Moto bug.
All right. Well, since Ross doesn't have a creature on the battlefield, we're going to go to 17 and play Young Pyromancer.
Sure.
And I will pass the turn after that.
On your end step, I will bolt the Pyromancer.
Sure. So I kind of want to get a white mana, but also I don't have Godless Shrine in my deck, so I just want to get Blood Crypt, I think. At least I'm pretty sure I don't have Godless Shrine. You didn't have Godless Shrine in yours, right? I kind of just molded it after your old mana base.
I had Godless Shrine in and out when I had white sideboard cards in Liliana the Veil. It came up enough times that I actually did want it.
I will play a Fairy Miscreant.
Okay. Do you have a second Fairy Miscreant?
And a Steam Vents.
Because that's when they get good.
Pass the turn.
It says it on the card. When you play another one,
Yeah. Draw a card.
draw a card.
Oh, believe me. I had a draft deck with 5 of them, and it was great.
All right.
Little Warhorn action. We killed people real fast.
Okay. Let's start with a Fatal Push. Resolves. Okay. I will finish with Faithless Looting. Resolves. And Pitch of Souls. I think. Yeah, I'll just discard this. Play my land your turn.
And a turn all out.
Sure. Now, normally when they discard the Bedlam Reveler, that means that they have a second Bedlam Reveler, and that is...
I don't think that that's necessarily true anymore with Seasoned Pyromancer,
Sure.
but is generally true a lot of the time.
They are not good in multiples, is the joke. And I can very almost cast one, so... What you got? Jace the Mind Sculptor.
You can go. Sad that Todd killed my other Fairy Miscreant.
Alright. I will make you sacrifice a creature.
I will let that resolve.
Okay. Here we go. So you're going to go to 18?
Yeah.
Winmore wants to know how you feel about Unearth in Mardu Pyromancer.
I'm not the hugest fan of it in this deck because, I mean, it does get Season Pyromancer back too, so maybe. I think you might need to build the deck a little bit differently. But, hell, maybe Bedlam Reveler's outdated. I don't know if
That makes me really sad, but from deck building the last couple weeks, as these cards have been getting previewed, I've been shaving them in a lot of my lists for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Season Pyromancer does a lot of the same stuff. It actually makes me a little sad because I own like 100 Bedlam Revelers.
100?
That's close. I got a box full.
Yes.
You don't want to crack a main phase? Or you want to hold a disruption
Yeah.
for X equals 3?
Yeah, you can go.
No comment.
Okay. Well, fine. Sure. Here you go.
And a turn, crack the eyelet.
Sure. That was funny.
Play another one, crack it.
Oh, Todd, this
That's
is a perfect opportunity for you. Ken Gyro wants to know about Unearth in something like Red Black Phoenix with the Ball Lightning or the new Ball Lightning. So you want to tell us a story about Crackling Skelemental?
What's the story?
I don't know. It's your story. You tell it.
The ball blatting thing?
Yeah.
That's not my story. That's like that's a Cedric story, I think.
Well, you said you were very sad that it was not called like Blightning Elemental.
Yeah, it should be called Blighting Elemental or Ball Blightning. You know, I mean, if you look at all the other cards from this set, they're all like, not. I don't want to be rude, but they're a little heavy-handed on the naming conventions.
It's very jokey, very
Right.
in-jokey.
It seems. I mean, they had a lot of fun with it for sure, right? So like I like the ideas, but Ball Blightning seems like an easy miss. All right, I'm just gonna say go. I don't know. My hand is weird.
You're up.
You discard, I'll go back young peasy. Oh, it just works. Okay, nice.
Well, you said it so forcefully, like he didn't have a choice.
Play it again. I don't know. Here you go. You just a bunch of lands in hand or something?
You're up.
Attack 2.
16.
Land tapped. I'm gonna flashback. Lingering Soul. Make 3 things.
Okay. The Pyromancer trigger's fine. In response to the Lingering Souls, I will Vendilion Click.
Targeting
you.
Sure. Can't push it, so.
I will take the Lingering Souls, and I will counter the flashback Lingering Souls.
Okay. Here you go.
Now I have to get kind of lucky. I will play Curious Obsession on the click.
Woof.
Attack you for 4. 13, draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Pass the turn. It was a good set of draws.
Mm.
I'm a fan.
How many lands are in your deck,
I'm guessing
Ross?
17
Okay,
Spellfire
nice.
Sprite.
with 3 islets. Feels a little low.
I'm just going to do the one mode of -2 on your Vendilion Click.
Okay, I will spell snare that.
Okay.
You get a token.
Yep.
Still might lose this race, but I'm ahead in it for now. After playing these couple games, I think I want some number of curiosities, because I think it's really important to get that going. I'm
11.
shocking to 11. That's going to reduce the clock by a turn.
I'll play Bellum Roller.
Yep.
Just card. Seasoned Pyromancer and Fatal Push. Looking for Bolt. Attack for 3.
I'm at 13.
Thought sees you.
That will resolve, I guess. If you take Force of Negation
I'm
and
gonna go to 9.
go to 9.
Your turn.
9 is an interesting number too, since if I can find another creature, I might be able to kill in 2 turns, but I think Todd probably has another like Brutality or some sort of removal spell. That's a good one. Attack you for 4. 5. Draw a card. I will play a Terramander. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I've got a million. Let's
Okay.
make it a 5/5.
Yeah.
So that's lethal by itself.
You're at 13.
I am at 13.
Okay, so I can play Seasoned Pyromancer and discard these 2 lands. So I'm at 5. So there's, if I shock, this is lethal. If I don't shock, it's not quite. If I find a way to deal with the Terramander, that is. Just what I'm banking on right now.
Pretty sure Terramander is just better than Delver of Secrets
Yeah,
by
card
like a huge margin.
In Modern, yes. Legacy, still up for debate.
Yeah,
all right, Seasoned Pyromancer.
resolves.
Discard 2 lands. Attack with everybody.
So if Todd has a lightning bolt and I block a token to keep my Terramander around, this is 7 plus 4 because of the prowess trigger is 11, so I would survive that. Yeah, I will block. I'll block myself.
You win.
Okay. So if you had 2 bolts, I had a Force of Negation for the second, and you're 1
nice.
short.
Okay.
So yeah, I had a very good sequence of draws there from the point I untapped with no hand and Obsession on my, or just Obsession.
That's why Obsession's so good, which is why I think Curiosity is almost as good. Obviously, the +1/+1 matters a lot. That extra
Yeah.
2 threatening 3 damage over the course of that game was a huge deal. You want to move to sideboards?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, get us more questions to Jerry. He's going to be taking his favorites. Just add SCG Tour in the chat. We're going to take a short break here while we get sideboards put together. Don't go nowhere. Be right back for more Versus Live. All right, we're here for more Versus Live. We're doing some sideboarding here with Mardu Pyromancer versus Izzet Tempo. And on my side, cards like Yellow Pyromancer are traditionally very good against creature-based decks, but in this particular instance, Ross's creatures are all flying. So it's not nearly as good as it could be. Obviously, it's a clock for us, but it's not a very fast clock. So we're going to be doing the thing I like to do against decks where we just want to be full interactive mode, and that's trimming threats, because we can't really trim a whole lot else. So Young Pyromancer is going to come out. Thoughtseize is going to come out. We're going to bring in Fork Bolts, which could be stellar in some spots. Ingress Rampage, which gets around Dive Down. And if he does have a Saheeli, it actually helps us check Saheeli, which I like. One copy of Wear Tear. We actually have two, but I think that this is the card with the least upside. It's there just to kill Curious Obsession and to do it to play around Dive Down. But I don't think it's going to be that good. But and honestly, it might be worth it to keep the Thoughtseize and cut the Wear Tear. I'm not 100% on either. Aside from that, Collective Brutality number 4, I think I have 3 main deck, and then a Liliana Last Hope as just another way to continually apply pressure to his creatures. If he doesn't counter it, I think that Liliana Last Hope is going to be insanely good.
Yeah, that's a slam dunk. On my side, we are bringing in an additional threat that is pretty resilient to removal in Saheeli. And then our Izzet Static Casters, which are great against Lingering Souls, Young Pyromancer tokens, and Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. So a nice way to give us an actual answer to that, so we don't have to go so hard and holding our counter spells to make sure we can answer Lingering Souls on the stack. Bringing out some of our weaker removal. I don't think Lightning Bolt is very good in this matchup. Snag is a card that I just always put in decks like this and probably shouldn't. And then the Twisted Image has no real targets, so it's an easy cut as well. It's also kind of a hard card to cast in a matchup where they're killing all your creatures. Like sometimes it's awkward. You don't want to cycle it on your creature when they have mana up, so it can be a liability in that way too.
I'll say this:
you don't want to fireball them with Dive Down.
I do not.
That was pretty cool. I'll say this: I think cards like Vapor Snag are a lot better in game 1 than they are after sideboard, because in game 1, as you saw in one of the games, you were able to bounce one of the tokens, deal me a damage, and threaten lethal on the following turn. And there could have been a spot where I try to kill something like a Spell Stutter Sprite or a Snapcaster Mage, and in response, you just bounce it, which you also did. You bounced a Snapcaster Mage once, and that was quite good.
Yeah.
So I think that it has enough versatility in protecting your own stuff, especially with your ETB effects, while also giving you just enough versatility in what it does. But after sideboard, things get a lot more streamlined. You know exactly what cards you need, which ones you don't. And something that's flexible is no longer nearly as good.
Good points.
How do you feel about Lava Dart instead of Fork Bolt?
I mean, it's possible. This was a copy paste, I think, from before Lava Dart was made. Fork Bolt is really powerful, and this deck is pretty mana hungry as the game goes along, though. So I don't know. Sacrificing in the mountains, not free. It's a lot better in an Arclight Phoenix deck, I think.
Right.
I mean, it does double spell for Young Pyromancer, though, so I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to build this deck, which I like, and Unearth is one of them that I want to try out now.
Yeah, what about Cabal Therapist?
Probably a little too weak. The fact that you get no immediate effect on it is always going to be a downer in Modern. Something like Noble Hierarch doesn't have an immediate effect, but that's because it gives you such a huge burst on 2 if your opponent doesn't kill it. Whereas Cabal Therapist, you could just miss on whatever you're naming with it, and that's only if you're sacrificing itself on turn 2, right?
Yeah.
Because it triggers during your first main phase.
At some weird time, yeah, I don't remember exactly when.
So I'm pretty sure you can only sack it on turn 2, right? And then, I don't know. The card is okay, but not something I'm really interested in playing that much.
Yeah, the fact that it's so hard to use on the first 3 turns of the game, which is when you want to be casting discard spells in Modern, is rough. Although this one's maybe more of a follow-up because of the therapy effect.
Oh yeah, we did say we were going to take some questions. You want to take some questions?
Yeah, sure.
All right, hit us with a couple more.
Scruffed Scuffy just asked me which beard I prefer.
I think Ross is probably.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy, Ross.
Yeah. Well, he's got this, and I hate this, which is why mine is not shaved. I mean, it looks like crap because I haven't shaved it, but I just don't like getting food in my hairs.
Just clean your beard.
I mean, I do, but still, just when I'm eating, and it's just
yeah, when
you like a wet nap.
When your mustache gets long and hangs over your top
hate
lip, it's rough. You gotta trim the mustache pretty regularly.
All right, another one.
Cool KBO wants to know if there is a teamer deck that could play Thoughtscour and Faithless Looting to fuel Terramander and Nimble Mongoose. You talked about how Hooting Mandrills is better than Goose, but what about the combination of Goose and Terramander? That seems stronger than Hooting Mandrills.
I mean, the combo of Goose and Terramander is kind of cool, I guess.
I'm listening.
Yeah, me too. Give me a werebear and we'll talk.
You have Tarmogoyf.
I know. I'll think
get you
about
some
it.
baubles
I
in your
don't.
deck. That gets you to threshold quickly. It grows your Goyf.
Yeah, but it doesn't grow your Terramander.
All in due time.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Do you play Traverse the Ulvenwald?
Maybe.
You certainly could now that you don't have Hooting Mandrills.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm digging it. Yeah, sure. I'm on it.
All right, Moonring 7 wants to know if Lava Dart and Force of Negation will show up in Ross's Izzet Phoenix deck.
Force Negation probably going in the sideboard. Card seems great.
I think it's a one of in the sideboard.
A one of?
Yeah, you don't play that many counter spells to begin with, and that one is one you can't like awkwardly play aggressively, which you sometimes do with Spell Pierce. And you also often like protect your cards on your own turn, like countering their Surgical or their Ravenous Trap to protect your Phoenixes.
Sure.
Force Negation is not good in that spot either.
I like it a lot against stuff like Scape Shift or Storm or
Tron.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
very good in those matchups.
Yeah, but I think you want like a lot of them in those matchups, like because those are the matchups where you lose. Like your plan A is not fast enough, and you don't have enough interaction to beat them. And I think that Force Negation just gives you that interaction that you need.
If you're playing it specifically for that matchup, then I can see playing more copies. But yeah.
Also, what if you just have Aria Flame? Or Force Negation is.
Lava Dart is also awkward because you don't have that many mountains, but it's another card and like you have Gutshot, which is really good in that slot, and I think a little bit better at handling Thalia. So I think Lava Dart you're going to see pop up in these mono red prowess decks.
Yeah, I mean the extra prowess triggers you get from Lava Dart are hugely relevant, and in version it wasn't even that good in the version I played, and it was still very good. So I could definitely see with like your 8, maybe 12 1-drop, like with Blister Core Weird or whatever, like some deck like that, you want to play like a ton of Lava Darts.
Yeah. The mono blue, the blue red version, however, doesn't have as much issue like returning Phoenixes later in the game. It doesn't need the double spell cards as much, and has fewer mountains, and really likes access to Gutshot for serving a similar role. Yeah, so I'm less high on Lava Dart in that deck.
Definitely want Gutshot first in that deck. So if you max out on Gutshots and you want a 5th, that seems like a lot, but.
What about Cryptic Serpent in this Teamer deck?
Cryptic Serpent in the Teamer deck?
I almost put Cryptic Serpent in the Izzet Phoenix deck before Terramander got printed. Somebody suggested it to me in a tournament.
Like big hexproof one? Or?
No, it's UU6-5.
Oh,
UU5.
No, see, cards like that are just a lot worse than a creature with Delve, right? Because if you Thought Scour yourself, like a Hooting Mandrills, you can get like onto the battlefield on like turn 2 with a couple of fetch lands and Thought Scour. Whereas Cryptic Serpent, like you're not getting on the battlefield until like turn 4 or whatever, maybe longer, and that's just such a downer when you're playing like Remand and stuff. I would much rather want Terramander is good because it's versatile. You can play it on turn 1, play some Remands or whatever, slow your opponent down, and then once you turn the corner, then you go nuts with it. So, but Cryptic Serpent, it just costs too much. There's a reason why I haven't seen it play.
All right, one more just general card overview. Dead of Winter.
It's Snow Matters. Give me a couple more snow permanents and sure. Give me a couple of snow creatures to play where I can wrath my opponent and then attack for 5.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't really see good snow creatures around. Yeah. But so if this is just a Wrath of God that is a little conditional.
What about Snow Mag Angler?
For 3 mana,
it's like a delve snow creature. It's a fish that hides in the
snow. But you can only delve away snow cards.
Let's play some Magic.
You're on the play.
What about Snowmagoyf?
Snowmagoyf. Power times equal number of snow cards in your graveyard? There's no snow fetches, though. That sucks. Let's go Inky.
Well, I have a pretty good hand against Inquisition of Kozilek.
Oh, yeah. 6 spells.
Yeah, 3 different 1-mana spells. You can't poke that hole.
Just take a counter spell, I guess.
Yeah, take the
We'll just try to pop off all your little guys. Against little guys.
I'm going to crack this for an island and play... I kind of want to protect the Terramander just because it's going to be the most powerful one later, so I'll start on a Storm Tamer.
I don't think you ever want to start on Terramander if you have another one. All right, so I know you have Disrupting Shoal. All right, I'm going to fetch a Swamp. I'm going to play a Collective Brutality escalating once, and I'm going to do minus and discard. Do I need extra red? I don't think so.
So that's going to bring you to 19. So 19 all.
Yep. And now he can disrupt control pitching spell center, but I'm still 2 for 2ing.
Yeah. The only spell in my hand is the shoal, so it's going to the duress.
Mhm.
So the question is whether I would rather have the spell starter in hand or the storm tamer in play.
Storm tamer in play.
Yeah, is pretty clear.
Yeah.
So I'll shoal that.
Your turn.
Thought should be at 17 because of the blood.
Oh yeah,
crypts,
you
I
shocked
believe.
turn 1.
Oh,
yeah, because
I
of the
did.
Inquisition. So you're at
Right,
17.
right. 17, 19.
Okay.
My beat.
Well, I will also go to 17,
Too tired.
and now I will play a Pteramander and attack you for 1.
Okay.
You can go.
15 or 16 or 15. No, 16.
16.
Yeah, already took the damage off. Tilt. Make you sack a creature. You're good.
I'll spell snare that.
Okay.
That seems better.
I agree. I'm in some trouble.
Attack for 2. I've got 3 spells, so I'm a little ways away from this Pteramander, but we're ahead on board. You're at 14. Lingering Souls will be a problem, should that show up. You know what I was thinking about trying to sideboard in this deck to beat Lingering Souls and like -1/-1 effects is just sideboard favorable wins. Get them.
Go. I agree. I think that could be pretty cool.
Crack fetch. I'm going to go to 16.
16, 14.
And let's get another Steam Vents.
Maybe shouldn't have discarded the Faithless Looting, but my hand was like all things I didn't really want to discard. But now I'm like stuck on mana. We have more total resources than Ross at the moment, but not by a lot.
Oh, I'm Curious Obsession.
Actually, we're even 2 and 3 and then 5.
Attack for 2.
All right, 12.
Play a tap land.
That's really good news for me. All right, I'm going to play this. And how many spells do you have in your
I have 3. I'm 1 mana shy.
Okay.
Once I untap.
So I'm going to...
Gonna upkeep use
say
a removal
go.
spell.
Yeah. Upkeep, I'm going to bolt targeting the Pteramander.
Okay. I believe I'd rather have Pteramander than Storm Tamer, so
I agree.
let's counter that. And attack you for 1.
11.
And pass the turn.
Go. Upkeep. 2 to the Pteramander and make you discard.
Oh, well, that was the punishing case. I mean, if I play the land, he just kills it on his turn, and I get the land basically. But now we're in trouble.
Yeah, your turn.
You can go.
Let's go to
10?
8.
8. Oh,
Cast the Souls.
yep.
Get 2 spirits and pass to you.
Pass the turn.
Find Sacred Foundry. Wherever it's at.
Every game, if I've just wanted to draw Curious Obsession and Curiosity over and over again, probably need to play like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, I don't know if you've drawn too many creatures or too much protection or too many lands or what, but like if at any point like you had protection plus curiosity, it would have just snowballed.
Yeah.
You know. All right.
You got some spirits.
We did find some JD Income Clearance tokens, I believe.
They're right here.
Yeah. All right. Untap, draw. I will attack for 2.
My 15.
I do it 16 from a fetch down to
Sure.
14.
14.
And I will play a Seasoned Pyromancer.
Resolves.
Discard a Faithless Looting, and then I'll draw 2. Make a token. Ross. And I will Inquisition you.
Yeah. Which one do you want?
Take the Bolt. Your turn.
Todd, at this point, you played a decent amount with Seasoned Pyromancer. Have you ever used the Exile from Graveyard?
No, I think it's actually just irrelevant in Modern. I mean, if you play against like Jund or play it in Jund, like you're playing a deck that eventually will go long enough where it will become relevant. And in that regard, like I think it's going to be nuts in that kind of a deck.
Playing this tap land because it gives me enough mana to play Pteramander and adapt on the same turn, because now I have the 4th spell because of Bolt. What I really want to draw is it Staticaster?
Attack for
5. 5. 9.
Your turn.
Pass the turn. A 4.
Drain you.
I'm at 2. You're at 10.
Port bolt you.
I'm at 0.
All right. Just drew a bunch of random.
As another land.
Right. Well,
that was game 3, right?
Yeah. What time is it?
10 after 3.
10 after? Okay. We can play one more if you want, and then we'll just go to 4:30. If you want to go to 4:30.
No, we gotta end at 4. So we'll just call that 3. We'll get in a 3-game match after this with our last set. Okay. Definitely want more curiosities in this deck. When I was able to get ahead, I was doing good things, but when I wasn't, the power level of the cards was not high enough to be able to carry me through normal modern cards. So I think you need to stress that synergy as much as possible. Probably trim some of the cuter cards in the main deck and make room for some curiosities.
Yeah, I think as far as building with Seasoned Pyromancer, the more things I find with it is that I want more cards I can play from the graveyard so that casting it and discarding a spell isn't that detrimental. So like in discarding Lava Dart in the mono red Phoenix deck was quite strong, and in this deck, like discarding Lingering Souls was pretty good. Discarding Faithless Looting never really felt like a big deal, and I was pretty happy in a lot of spots to trade the Faithless Looting for a 1/1 and still draw a card. After like getting it, like it happened twice where Faithless Looting was just my last card because every card in my hand was try to kill your creature, try to make it discard, try to kill your creature, and then I end up with one card just kind of laying around in my hand, and Faithless Looting in that spot just doesn't really do anything. So,
are you interested in something like Firebolt? It's a little expensive.
Maybe. I mean, I love me some Firebolt, so I'm not going to count it out.
We could play a retrace spell like Flame Jab or Raven's Crime. Because you draw lands off the Young Pyromancer, you got something to do with them.
That's actually really smart. That's really, really smart. That might be something worth looking into. So, yeah. I mean, it's also like, think about it. Like, what if you play Seasoned Pyromancer in a Life from the Loam deck? You discard a Life from the Loam and dredge it immediately. Like, that sounds pretty cool. I'm not sure how good it is, but like it's certainly an avenue that you could pursue. And if you're playing a deck that has retrace cards like Flame Jab and Raven's Crime, and then you play Seasoned Pyromancer, discard Life from the Loam and dredge, like that seems pretty cool. I don't know if it's good enough in Modern, but it's certainly fine. The rest of your deck can be dedicated to interaction, and that can just be like your card draw engines and your finishers. And that seems
along
okay.
with Ren and 6.
Yeah, Ren and 6 seems like it could be fine in that deck too. I don't know. Well, Seasoned Pyromancer is such a weird card as far as Modern is concerned, because we have cards that kind of do the same stuff already, but this just kind of puts two different things together, where you have a card that gives you some pressure, lets you filter like useless spells into fresh cards, or when you have no cards left in hand, you just play it and draw 2. And like in all these scenarios, you can build decks to utilize any of those given aspects. And I really don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, but the way you maximize it is by discarding cards you want to discard and also making tokens, which means putting spells that are good in the graveyard. That's why you've seen people talk about pairing it with Vengevine and some of those decks.
Yeah, pitching with Vengevine and then playing any of the 0-mana creatures on 3 to bring it back seems fine. You can discard Vengevine and a Bridge from Below. Like, you can play it alongside Rick's Mighty Reveler and Bridgevine and do like that kind of stuff. It just gives you more of those creatures that count as a discard outlet for Vengevine, as opposed to playing like Cathartic Reunion or something that you don't really want to play.
Yeah. So and is also a creature. Yeah. So definitely a tricky card to use, and one that gets a little bit hampered by the fact that it's sort of a 3-mana value creature in a format where a lot of decks are going to go way over the top of that. So you need to pair it with good disruption, or otherwise fast clock.
Let's talk about Force Negation a bit, because we didn't get to see a whole lot of it here. This is not a matchup where it's going to shine. Probably should have paired it against a combo deck. That's my fault.
I think this is a matchup where it could shine so long as I'm drawing a lot of cards, and I just needed more curiosity. So it was a misbuild in the deck. I mean, we saw what happened when I ran away with it.
Yeah, you did.
The one time I had an early obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Was the deck operating at operating pretty well. And if I could ever get to the point where I go like turn 1 creature, force a negation, your discard spell or your removal spell, untap Curious Obsession it, hold up a dive down Spell Pierce, that kind of play is going to be really strong.
Yeah, and I mean much the same way modern decks function like old standard decks. Like you get an extra of a thing. Like the way that Magic works is a lot of times you see over a period of time you see a card that gets printed that's very similar to an older card. And in this scenario, we have Curious Obsession and Curiosity that both function pretty similarly and allow you to have a bit more redundancy. Because like in standard, one of the reasons why Mono Blue was disregarded for so long was because the draws where you drew Curious Obsession versus the draws where you didn't were just criminally different.
Yeah.
To the extent that the ones without just felt very underpowered. But in this scenario, like, you know, you could just play more of that card and potentially the deck just becomes supercharged. So, I mean, I like the idea for sure. Maybe too many pitch spells. Maybe you just want to have like 2 Force Negation, 4 Disrupting Shoal, or 3 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have that much card disadvantage against the attrition decks.
It's possible, but I'd want to see it with, you know, extra card advantage to see where the balance is. Because right now we know we're low on that aspect. Mm-hmm. We could also be high on the other aspect, but we won't know until we change the one variable and test that.
Yep. All right. Anything from you, Mr. Gerald?
I like introducing a lot of variables at the same time. I think that's just, you know, classic science right there.
Yes.
All right. Well,
the geriatric method.
we have one more match today. We're going to be playing Mono Black Zombies featuring I want to say it's Relentless Augur.
Undead Augur.
Undead Augur. Is that the only new card added to the deck?
We got 6 black Horizon Canopy lands.
Nice.
So we're putting those to the test too.
All right.
How many is too many?
No.
We got some Urborgs to quell the pain, but I've been interested in these mono black decks for a while. But I really just want them to take more advantage of Nykthos and be built more like Mono Blue Devotion.
Sure.
This one still has some good disruption. Like, you get to play Liliana of the Veil pretty easily because you have Bloodghast.
Yeah.
And you still play Thoughtseize, and then you've got some removal. But you're really like, you know, 8/1 drops, but 8/2 drops, that sort of Mono Blue flat curve where you're really trying to ramp up.
And this is the old Mono Blue Devotion deck that you're talking about,
yes.
Right? So, yeah. That's the deck Ross is going to be playing. I'm going to be playing something that I think Jared might like, a Thopter Sword combo deck featuring Urza, the new Urza that's just kind of busted. Was it High Lord Artificer or Lord High Artificer? Lord High Artificer.
Mother of Dragons.
Yeah, Breaker of Chains.
Good
Creator of Karn. So basically if you have Thopter, Foundry, Sword of the Meek, and Urza on the battlefield at the same time, you get to gain infinite life, generate infinite Thopters, and cast every card in your deck. It's pretty good.
See, I like my Thopter Sword combos to be a little bit more fair.
A little more fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just pay 1, make a 1/1, gain a life.
Sure. I just think that there's a chance that Urza is just insanely good by itself. Like 4 mana for like a small body or whatever, but then you generate a construct basically.
Yeah.
And then every artifact you already have on the battlefield just taps for a blue mana. Like that just seems pretty busted if you're going to play a bunch of chromatic stars and spheres and Mishra's Baubles and things like that. Pair that with War of Invention and you can and Thoughtcast, and you start to get to spots where you have these really degen turns that allow you to churn through your deck pretty well and find the Thopter Sword combo quite easily. So I'm curious to see how easy it's going to be to do that. We also have Sidemaster Thopters. I believe I put him in the sideboard, but he could have a lot of main deck potential because it gives you a lot of extra mana when you cast Urza. But I thought that Thopter Sword Urza Psy was too much. So who knows?
He belongs in the sideboard.
That's what I thought. The sideboard.
The
sideboard.
All right, we're gonna take a short break here. Let's take 5. 5, okay?
Oh yeah, we can do 5.
All right, take a 5er. We're gonna get our next deck set up and everything. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere for more Versus Live.